Got a hot take coming, Grant.
Yeah, why don't we go on over to that, Tanner? Now we're going to skip out on the quiz. We've had quizzes the past couple of weeks, but as you guys know, we love to play a game over here. And this one, we are taking a trip to Controversy Corner. Tanner and I are going to give you about 30 to 60 seconds of hot takes that we have prepared, that we've thought of, and we're just going to go back and forth. We're not really going to criticize each other too much because we do that enough as it is. We're just going to let off some steam. We're going to get some stuff off our shoulders. And Tanner, I don't know if you want to start with what you were just referencing or you want to save it for the end, but why don't you give the people one of your takes?
I'll start with it because we're on the Red Sox theme. So I'm going to say Chris Sale will never be good again. Chris Sale's era of dominance is over. Not that it's been in effect for the past 3 years because he gets hurt riding a bicycle, but Chris Sale will never be good again. Here's why. For his whole career, he was so good. There was so much movement on the ball that he was able just to throw it all over the zone. He's never really had great location, but now he needs to locate because he doesn't have that same movement on the baseball. He's still hitting 95. Like, you can still get it up there, but he just can't throw the ball with as much movement, so he needs to locate, and I don't think he's going to be able to fix this at this point in his career. Someone asked him from the Boston media, they said, like, what's the problem, Chris? Like, what's the problem? What's the problem? And he's staying healthy right now, but he's like, I don't even know where to begin with the problem. I'm just getting blasted right now. So that's a problem if he doesn't even know what the issue is. I know what the issue is. So, Chris, you want to call me, I'll tell you. But he'll never be good again. Boston really needs pitching or they're not going to be a good baseball team.
You know, if Chris Sale is listening to this, I will admit, Tanner said Cody Bellinger, reach out to him. I can help you with your swing. And Cody's hitting over 300 this year. So maybe Tanner is a little bit of a baseball guru that Chris Sale needs to get some advice from.
Yep, definitely. All right, Grant, get you're boring and just do NBA. So go for it.
Yeah, I'm just going to do the thing that everybody's talking about right now. I've got a trifecta of NBA takes. And I'm going to start with the one that is on the tip of everybody's tongue, which is the controversial charge rule. Wasn't exactly controversial until recently. Now, I've had these thoughts probably since about, I would say, the end of last year is when it first started creeping into my mind. Not saying I'm the first one to jump on that. I've heard talks about it way before that. But I think that the NBA needs to look at the charge rule. I think that they need to make some sort of amendments to it, that if a player is in an upward motion or has gathered, that you can't take a charge as a defender, or they need to move the restricted area 1 foot out to discourage players from taking charges right under the rims, because we were seeing a lot of dangerous plays. Joel Embiid was horizontal in the air, and for a 7 foot, 300-pound big man, that's just terrifying. Morant, I don't know how he didn't break his hand or wrist, but it was the same scenario. Defender slides in to take a charge. Ja potentially has the highest vertical leap in the NBA, and he's also one of the lightest players in the NBA. I think he's less than 170 pounds, and he comes crashing down, has to leave the game with an injury. And Giannis, Kevin Love is awesome. He drew 4 charges in the fourth quarter of one of the play-in games, but he slides in to take a charge on Giannis, and he ends up getting the block anyway because he was a little late to the spot. But Giannis, again, collides with him while he's in midair, goes spinning to the floor, and leaves the game with a lower back injury. To me, I just don't view it as a basketball play. I think you're rewarding lazy or bad defense. You're rewarding a late rotation over. Like, if you're coming from the weak side, if you're the help defender, I want to see you go up and try to contest the shot. I don't want to see you force the referees to make a whistle on something that's dangerous for the player on offense. So that's my take. I think that they need to look at changes in the offseason. I know a lot of people don't fully agree with that, but look at what's going on with the NFL. They've made the game more friendly for the offense and safer for the players. I think this is one of those situations the NBA has to take by.
I like it. Make the game more exciting, evolve with the times like Major League Baseball, like Cody Bellinger's doing right now. Cody Bellinger will be not an MVP ever again, but he will be a multi-time all-star before his career comes to an end. Like, baseball is better when Cody Bellinger is good, and he is good right now. The past few years, he's really struggled since his MVP season, but he can still hit the ball effectively. The walk rate's going up right now for Cody, and the strikeout rate's going down. So I think the sky's the limit this season. Coming off a 5-for-5 night, he still can have the power. We've seen the signs of it. He's playing at Wrigley with the wind blowing out. That should hopefully add a few more home runs on his tally. I do think Cody Bellinger is going to be an authority in baseball moving forward, and he's evolving with the times. He's gotten rid of the bigger leg kick. He's kind of slowing down. His approach is much better at the plate, and that's going to make the difference for Cody. Multi-time all-star coming up.
He stopped swinging that cricket bat. He's actually putting some. He's getting a good angle on the bat now. So yeah, he's definitely been playing better. Like I said, credit to you for giving him those swing lessons. I won't ask you for the secret formula, but just know I've seen you putting in those hours with him in the offseason. My second hot take: the Los Angeles Clippers are going to beat the Phoenix Suns. I said my strongest play of the next couple of days was for the Clippers on the spread, but I am also personally going to be betting them on the money line. Now I do think the smart bet. If I had to give you advice, my strongest play, like I said, it's Clippers spread. I think the money line is a risk. But if the Clippers win this game and they go back to Los Angeles to up 2-0, it's over. Chris Paul had to play 38 minutes in game one. He's almost as old as LeBron James, and LeBron's 38, year 20, all that jazz. Chris Paul is not the same athlete as LeBron. He doesn't have the same level of endurance. You can see him wearing down in the fourth quarter. There are a lot of mid-range shots that are his bread and butter that he was missing. He was less influential in distributing the ball. Like I said earlier in the show, Kevin Durant had to take over those responsibilities. The bench is super thin. Like I said already, you got to get 35 plus, 40 plus from Kevin Durant and Devin Booker in this next game to win it and in the rest of the series. I know Kawhi Leonard is under a ton of pressure without Paul George to score the ball, but he's shooting the ball at nearly 47% in 2023. We're in the fourth month. That's a lot of games under his belt, and he is just awesome in the playoffs. Honestly, he might have been the best player in basketball since the calendar's turned, and he gets a lot of crap because he load manages and he misses back-to-backs, and he's been injured for the past few years, but he has just been sensational, and we're seeing it translate into the playoffs as we always have. This is a two-time champion, two-time finals MVP. Clippers are going to beat the Phoenix Suns, in my opinion.
Grant, every time you have a chance to pipe in LeBron, you do it. Like every time.
I didn't even look. What am I supposed to say?
It's just second nature. Anyways, final take here, and this is going to go against your third take, so we might as well battle it out for a minute, even though we kind of already did. The Warriors are going to beat the Kings in 7 games. It's not rocket science. It's never been rocket science. Grant, here's what's going to happen. Series goes back to Golden State. Win 1, win 2. Okay, now we're 2-2. Now we go to Sacramento for game 5. And I'll tell you this right now. The Kings probably win that game. Now we go back to Golden State for game 6. I don't know if you heard, Grant. You ever heard of a guy named Game 6 Clay? Have you ever heard of Game 6 Clay before?
I've heard of him.
You've heard of him? Okay, well, so he's going to lead them to a victory, no problem. And then game 7, we're going to go back to Sacramento, and the Kings are going to crumble because they've never been in this spot before, and Golden State's going to win the whole thing. There's a reason the Warriors are plus 140 on FanDuel Sportsbook to win this series down 2-0 when you tell me it's only happened 7% of the time in NBA history. There's a reason, because they don't want that liability. If they put Golden State at plus 200, plus 250, plus 300, people would absolutely nuke that line. There'd be a lot of liability for a team that's been there and done that. So, with everything considered here, Golden State in 7. Book it.
I'm on the complete opposite side. I bet the Sacramento Kings at plus 225 to win the series before it started. They're now minus 158. Like you were saying, maybe not as much movement in odds as you might have anticipated, given that 93% of teams that go up 2-0 go on to win the series. But I'm sticking with the Kings here, and I was terrified of them having to win a game 7, even though it was at home where they had the loudest environment in the NBA this season. Everybody's getting into light the beam. You can feel the energy through the TV when you watch these guys. I can only imagine if you're actually attending these games in Sacramento. But I've seen from this Kings team, they can get punched in the mouth. They can go ahead and win. They can go behind and win. They have a coach in Larry Brown who won 3 championships with the Warriors. He knows how they operate. He's taken the best of their system and improved upon it, and he knows how to defend against it. I think the Warriors have already dished out a lot of their tricks, and I think Steve Kerr's already running out of answers. Like Kuminga played less than 20 minutes. Poole played less than 20 minutes in game 2. He went to JaMychal Green off the bench because he didn't know what to do. The Kings, they just match up well stylistically and from a personnel standpoint against this Warriors team. And I if this game does go 7, like you said, it's scary because of the Warriors championship experience, but I have more faith in this Kings team, but I don't think it's going 7. I think we're getting this done in, I'll say 6 games. I think they're going to win one. I think they're going to win at home. So it'll be, I'll say it's 2-2 going back to Sacramento. Kings win at home and they win in Oakland, and that's how they close it out. Or they in San Francisco. They win in San Francisco and they close it out.